Listen to me, Canada. I come in and I am going to take your country. We have immigrated to this country, and it will now be called the Indian Republic of Canada. Listen to me here. We are going to take your country now. This is now India. Canada. That's my best Pajit impersonation for this. But this video, very interesting. I was monitoring the situation and wanted to make this. As you'll see right in the beginning, there's a page on Facebook that I follow called Revenge of the Smirk, so I'm kind of shouting him out. Very fantastic page to follow for the memes and the fun, so I highly suggest you guys go follow him if you have a Facebook. Like I said, I don't have X or Instagram or whatever. He might be on several other things, but it shows you right there. It just shows you. Let me mute this, sorry, so that you don't hear those dings. It just shows you the state, the absolute state of Canada. And really one of the reasons I want to make this video is that could be coming to a country near you in America. If you guys remember the Vivek Ramaswamy freakout during Christmas of last year, where he used that opportunity to tell us how lazy and ineffectual we are as Americans, and that we all need to be replaced by Indians, essentially. And there's a fantastic Sam Hyde video that was made called Dear Elon. If you guys haven't watched that, a lot of people have watched it, but Sam Hyde is amazing. That's one of the best videos I've ever seen. So go watch that if you. In fact, I'm going to link it in the video. That's how important it is. I think that people should watch that. But yeah, I'm going to kind of go over this because I don't really care about the parties. I don't fully understand Canadian politics, their political system, like how it works. But I do know that it's a bunch of leftists. It's always been like socialist, communist, essentially, with the way that they do things. And I've got an article from Reuters pulled up here as well. I was going to go over each of these individual Canadian candidates, but I mean the names speak for themselves, guys. So you have for Liberal Ontario, Dr. Parminder Singh. I don't know how to say the name. And then Ontario PC. I guess these are like political parties because there's red, blue, yellow. So you've got the Conservative, the Republic, or the Democrat, and the Libertarian or whatever. But you literally see that they're all Indians. So for the Republican, you have this Parminder Singh. For the Democrat, you have Sudeep Verma, who's got like a crazy forehead. There's been a lot of memes about that, about how crazy his forehead is. Then you have Guratan Singh for the Libertarian. Safdar Hussain, Harjit Jaswal, and Sarah Singh. I mean, this is just like a seventh layer of hell. So, as you see, Revenge of the Smirk says, goodbye, Canada. And I agree, goodbye, Canada. There really is no reason why Trump shouldn't annex parts of Canada at this point. At least we might need to build a northern wall, guys, because this is pretty crazy. But like I said, I think a lot of American politicians are still on board with this Indian immigration. We'll have to see. If not Indian immigration, there's a lot of contract work that they still do. They still can contract out to the Philippines or out to India or whatever for cheaper wages. So all of this stuff still benefits corporations. It still benefits jobs. And so I don't know if that will be tackled in any meaningful way. But anyway, we'll get to the article here. It says, Canada's Liberals ride Trump backlash to comeback election win. And this is something that I don't understand. It says, Liberals to retain power but fail to get majority. Which, if you know anything about Canada, there really is no right wing over there. So, like, you have, like, far left and you have center left. That's essentially all it is. And now they're all Indians. So doesn't even matter. It says Prime Minister. This is what I was going to talk to. Is Mike Carney remains the Prime Minister. This is the guy that replaced Justin Trudeau when Justin Trudeau like stepped down. And this guy is just pretty feckless, from what I understand. He has no real vision for anything. Say what you will about Trudeau, you know, he was insane, but he did have like a globalist Klaus Schwab vision. This guy kind of is like, minus the dementia, this guy kind of is like the Joe Biden of Canada now. This Mark Carney guy. So yeah, that's interesting. And then yeah, backlash against Trump's tariffs. Apparently they're going to try to fight Trump's tariffs, which I've been critical of Trump's tariffs. I don't think they're going to completely work globally. But there are countries like Canada where they're 100% going to work, guys. Like, Canada has no leverage. This is one area where Trump it's a total win. Like, what are they going to do? Fight Canada for certain goods? I'm trying to think of, like, I think, like, corn, like, really goods that we could get easily. Butter, something like that. I was reading, let's look this up, actually. Let's look up what are top imports. What are the top imports from Canada? Okay, so we get oil from Canada, which we get that from everywhere. So cars, we get that from everywhere. And Trump's already lowered the tariffs on foreign car parts, by the way, so that means we'll probably just be getting that from China again. Petroleum gas, refined petroleum, it just says parts, so I guess literally cars. I thought it was more like food goods. Yeah, here it is, biggest exporting. Yeah, this is what they export to us. So they export meat, beef, poultry, processing in Canada. Aircrafts, minerals. Yeah, there's minerals. By the way, that's the argument for why Trump could possibly annex, or I don't know what's going to happen politically, but Alberta. If Alberta is like the one place that I'm not really for taking over all of Canada, making it the 51st state as Trump was memeing in the beginning, but you know, annexing things like Alberta, that's not a bad idea. Creating like a land bridge to Alaska, connecting Alaska to the United States, not a bad idea. Aluminum, copper, zinc. So yeah, we do get some food. I knew it was food. It says meat, but I swear butter was one of them. I could be mistaken, but they're really in no position because they're right on our northern border. They're in no position to fight this. They're not like Europe where they're across the ocean and they can really fight this. Canada's in no position to resist Trump. But apparently that's what's going to happen now. You're going to have a whole bunch of Indians and Mark Carney resisting Trump. And then this conservative Poilievre guy, this guy was supposed to be like the savior of Canadian politics. He lost his seat, so he's just done. He's out. He's out of the game. So it says Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal staged and major political comeback to retain power, blah, 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 fueled by backlash against Trump's tariffs. With almost all votes coming Monday's election, falling short, blah, blah, blah. This is all just like tariff stuff. So it says conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, that's the guy, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, who just 3 months ago had looked certain to sweep the polls, lost. And a lot of this is due to Trump did kind of screw this guy. I don't really think this guy was right-wing. This guy was like very much a libertarian. If you guys don't know who he is, he's that guy that famously had the Apple video where the reporter was like trying to ask him questions several years ago and he's just chewing on an apple really smug. It was a pretty funny video. I thought it was pretty funny. I'll link that in the description as well for you guys if you guys want to watch that. But I'm well aware of who this guy was. But yeah, Trump kind of screwed him with the tariffs because it kind of put him in a situation where like he's pro-Trump, but to be pro-Trump now it was like you're supporting tariffs, which all the Canadian government is against at this point. So Trump screwed him, but I don't care because Canada's a meme anyway, so whatever. But yeah, he lost his seat. He said Jagmeet Singh announced he would step down as leader of the left-leaning New Democrats after he lost his seat. Carney had sought a majority to help him negotiate with Trump of the tariffs threatening Canada's economy. Trump congratulated Carney on his election victory in a call on Tuesday. Carney's office said in a statement, the leaders agreed on the importance of Canada and the United States working together as independent sovereign nations. So yeah, right here is the cope, guys. They know that they have no leverage, Canada. So they're going to cave. This is one country that will cave. I think Mexico and Canada are both because they're they will actually cave to the tariffs if Trump keeps doing this art of the deal, push-pull thing. In the long term, that will work out. I just don't know about China and Russia and all the other crap he's trying to do with the tariffs. But this is the funny part. It says the liberals who have been in power since November 2015. That's insane. 10 years, guys. 10 years of basically the entirety of Trump has been just liberal hell in Canada. We're 20 percentage points behind in surveys in January. Justin Trudeau announced he was quitting as prime minister, and Trump started threatening tariffs and annexation, which, like I said, I am totally pro annexing certain parts of Canada, because you should just build a wall around those cities, right? Like, just build a wall around Ontario and just cut off the liberal section of Canada. But there's so much land there. I mean, there is so many possibilities for Canada, for Americans, and you know, a lot of the Canadians that are not Indian, you can just bring them in as well. Let little eastern side of Canada become the Indian Republic of Canada. But yeah, that's kind of the article. These articles just end, by the way. They just it ends with Trump in a social media post Monday reiterated his call for Canada to become the 51st state. So he's still talking about it. He's going to raise a 25% tariff on Canadian-made cars, which, again, the whole car thing I'm pretty supportive of, because, like, I don't think anyone needs a new car. You can vastly lower the production of cars, and if he actually can get them to make that in America again, that will lower the cost as well. So the whole car thing, like, there are certain amounts of pain that I'm willing to bear over this tariff thing. I just think he also needs to start working on getting rid of the income tax and dealing with things of that nature if he really wants to be serious about this, because the tariffs are a form of tax. If you don't address the other taxation, it's just going to increase the cost of living overall, and, you know, inflationary, blah blah blah. So, yeah, that's essentially what's happening in Canada. But as you saw in the photo, it is a lot of Indians, and I was looking that up the other day. I'll pull that up. The Indian population. I know Canada has about roughly 40 million people living there. But the Indian population of Canada is approximately 1.86 million, that's insane. So Canada's being overrun. This is mostly in the cities too. I've heard reports, like, something to get into about India that I haven't yet is Pete Quinones talks about this a lot. India is a literal shithole, like, just to be completely frank about it. There's a great book called Camp of the Saints. It's a fiction book, but it kind of a lot of people have this view of the Indians mostly from the Brahmin class, because that's the way India works with, like, Hinduism and their caste system. For one, Hindu is like a religion where there's no real cohesion, there's no real consensus, so it's kind of like anyone can believe what they believe, and there's very weird things. It almost gets into almost witchcraft type territory. It's like what goes on in Haiti. But they also have this caste system where, like, the Brahmins they're like the wealthy caste, and that's what you normally see in America. So you have 1.86 million Canadian or Indians in Canada, and Indian caste system. Let's see here if it'll pull it up easily. But yeah, it says the Brahmins were the priests, and then the Kishtaros. I can't even say some of this stuff. But then you have the laborers. They're called the Shudras. Yeah, so these are the Indians that most of us don't see. But like I said, they do contract these people out of state. America does. Especially with the internet now. Like, a lot of call centers and email jobs, things like this, are actually now being outsourced to places like India. So you don't normally see this in our actual society, but with the immigration crisis, you're now starting to see it. And yeah, these India, just to not to get like too into the weeds on it, but you'll see like dead bodies floating in the water. Like there's a joke that if you go on Google Maps and just like pick any spot of India, the first thing you see is trash everywhere. So this is not a desirable country, guys. This is not a desirable country for imports. You do not want these people in your country, and that's why I'm titling this video the Indian Republic of Canada, because essentially that is what has happened to Canada. They are now completely occupied by Indians, and this is going to be in their politics. It's kind of like what's happening in Europe right now with the Muslim issue. Their entire society is being taken over by Muslims, and now the same thing is happening in India. And this what really sucks about this the most is Canada is right next to us, so this actually affects us. You've got Vivek Ramaswamy right now running for governor in Ohio, which, by the way, if you live in Ohio, do not let that happen. Vivek Ramaswamy, I might do a video on him, but there's already been tons of videos on him about how he's a scam artist and all that, but I might do like a deep dive on him in the future. But he is absolutely a charlatan. You know, I never really bought into him. For one, he's a libertarian. Anyone that's a libertarian now, I completely, the red flags go off. Libertarians are the most cringe. It's the most cringe political party in existence. Well, if it's legal, that's like all I ever. Well, as long as it's legal, that's their argument for everything. So there's no morality. There's no discernment. There's nothing but, you know, money. That's essentially all the Libertarian Party is make a profit, right? The market, the free market of ideas, which doesn't exist, by the way. But yeah, someone like Vivek Ramaswamy is already in American politics, and you might see a lot of this going forward, especially as Canadians. There's a lot of Canadians, I think, like Michaela Peterson. Michaela Peterson's really cringe as well, because she came to America and now she's like complaining about the deportations. This was several months ago, but this is just what happens, guys. These people come here and they're not really citizens. They're just coming here for the Gibbs or whatever, and they're just completely trying to change the country from within. And this is do or die. Like, I made a video recently that you guys will have watched, because I schedule these out now. Or sorry, I apologize. There will be a video in the future. I kind of like almost spoiled the bag there. I'm looking at my scheduled videos, and I've got some coming up. But essentially, the video, I'm not going to go into it, but I'm just going to say what the next 4 years are going to be very revealing of this country and globally, because it's going to see if countries are serious as well. Like, another video that I've been thinking about making is about what just happened in Spain and Portugal with the rolling blackouts, right? Like, that's another concern here, is like, as we get these people, these third worlders, into positions of power and importance, it's going to cause competency crisis. It's going to cause real decline, because these people don't know how to. The founding stock built these things. These people don't know how to maintain them. So it's a real crisis that's coming up. I think when the boomers die, especially, we're going to really see the ramifications of a lot of this stuff if we don't correct it now. This is really do or die. Like, Trump's presidency right now is do or die. Fix the problems or watch the collapse of America, right? A lot of people, E. Michael Jones has talked about this. We're entering the third republic of America, and as far as the history goes. But yeah, like, what is this going to be? Is this going to be the fall of Rome period for us, or is this going to be the Julius Caesar revitalization period, where we can kind of go on from? Because eventually we're probably going to have to completely reform, like modern Rome did. Rome escaped to Constantinople. They didn't create Constantinople. They were basically just escaping Rome as it fell. But the problem with modernity is, it's like, where do you go now when you see this, right? You've got Indians everywhere. You've got Muslims everywhere. You know, in the southern border now, you've got the cartels. Like, where do you go? There's nowhere to go anymore because we live in a globalized society. This is why Elon Musk talks about going to Mars and the moon, which I don't support, by the way. I think going to space to solve this problem is kind of silly. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a real solution when you could just enforce your borders again. It's that simple. There is no population crisis. There's plenty of places to put these people. Like, you could turn Madagascar, you could turn Madagascar into like another Australia. If you guys know the history of Australia, it started as a prison colony. You could turn Madagascar into just like a work labor island where you can just send these people. I don't know. There's so many solutions to solving this problem without resorting to complete and total violent anarchy. So anyway, guys, that's really the video. Just wanted to make that one because this Canadian stuff very much interests me. I've been following the Indian situation for a while, and I've been very apparent to it. There's obviously the deeper problem of, you know, our greatest ally. I have to really tread lightly with talking about them because right now Trump, this is one of the biggest things about his admin that I hate, is that Trump is, and I don't know if it's Trump himself, to be fair, it could just be the Zionist admins that he has in there, but they're really trying to push this talk about Israel and its hate speech narrative, right? Like, anti-Semitism is, which is completely retarded. It's the stupidest thing ever, and I hope it does not come to fruition. But I feel like you just gotta, if you're gonna start talking about this stuff, put yourself on the line, like I've decided to do. You have to account for that. So I'm going to kind of speak in code a little bit on certain things, but if you guys are abreast to the situation, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about our greatest ally. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens, because that's another thing is with what's happening over in the Middle East, we can't have Muslim immigrants in America as well. Like, they're flooding Europe right now. I don't know what Europe is going to do. It just seems like everything's insane, but America is the only one that seems to have some level of sanity because of Trump. You know, I've said in the past, I'm totally fine with him being a modern Caesar. We need that at this point. It's the only way. We need the strong man to come back. We cannot allow this to continue. It's untenable. It is untenable. Import the third world, become the third world. It's a rule for reason. Just go study South Africa. Test case in point. There is an amazing book that you should all read. It's called what was it? Into the Cannibal's Pot. It's over there on my, I knew it was amazing book. If you want to read about what happened in South Africa, it's a very, very disturbing book, so forewarned. But that is the future, guys. You don't want this future. You do not want this future. So pray for Canada. Hope that something can work out for them in the future, you know, whether that does mean that America ends up annexing part of it. But like I just read, 10 years of liberals, I mean, you just can't survive this, and it's not going to change. It's not changing. This is not changing. So, anyway, that's the video. I didn't say it in the video because I need to get in the habit of it, but thank you so much if you've watched all the way to this point and you've been watching the videos. Please consider subscribing if you're new. Like the videos and comment. It's going to help with the algorithm as I try to push this channel forward into the future, so that I can get to the 1,000 subs, you know, and maybe turn this into more of a regular thing. But as always, I appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.